Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something really important. Practical mental health management. It's a topic that affects everyone, but, often stays in the shadows.
So many
Uh-huh.
people are quietly struggling, right? Putting on a brave face.
Exactly. Smiling in public, but maybe crying in private. Our source for this deep dive is Practical Mental Health Management Tips by Reuben Juma Onunga.
And what's fascinating is his background. An engineer, a community leader.
Right. He writes, as he puts it, not from theory, but from testimony. He's been through burnout, emotional exhaustion, so he's offering a kind of map from someone who actually knows the terrain.
Yeah, it's very grounded.
Our goal here is to unpack these principles he lays out. They're simple, but quite profound, really, blending scripture, science, everyday wisdom, and crucially, no complex medical jargon.
It's about making healing accessible. Because, as he says, every mind matters.
Absolutely.
And I think the core message, it's that mental health isn't some luxury item. It's a lifeline, both spiritual and practical.
Yeah.
What's really striking is how he connects our everyday choices.
Yeah.
What we eat, how we sleep, who we talk to, how we pray directly to our mental state.
Yeah, it's not about some huge abstract solution.
No, it's about taking the next right step, guarding your peace like treasure, as he suggests. Small, consistent actions.
Okay, so let's unpack this journey then, starting with something maybe we don't always connect directly to mental health, our physical foundation.
Right, where it all begins in a way.
And first up is nutrition. Feeding the mind through the body. He's really clear on this. What you eat profoundly shapes your mind.
That line, you cannot build a strong mind on a weak diet, it hits home, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
And the science he brings in, well, many of us have heard about the gut being the second brain.
Sure, that concept's out there.
But he emphasizes why it's critical for mental health, specifically serotonin production.
The mood regulator.
Exactly. Over 90%, he states, is made in the gut. That's huge.
It really is. It highlights that direct link.
So it's like an immediate pipeline to our emotional well-being. If we're constantly reaching for convenience foods, maybe that sugary breakfast.
Quick energy fix.
Yeah, you get a temporary boost, sure.
Yeah.
But then comes the crash. Mid-morning anxiety, maybe irritability.
And you might not even know why you feel that way.
Precisely. He suggests thinking of food not just as fuel, but as information for your brain.
Information. That's a powerful way to put it. It changes how you think about your plate, doesn't it?
It does. And the insight you mentioned earlier, that the gut isn't just digestive, it's a hormonal command center.
And choosing processed stuff isn't just empty calories. It's almost like starving your emotional stability.
Yeah, creating a silent deficit. It goes way beyond just weight.
Absolutely. It's about nourishing peace from the inside out.
He shares this really compelling story.
Oh.
A teenage boy in Seattle County, poor performance in school, low moods, just tired all the time.
Okay.
And it wasn't defiance or anything like that. The diagnosis, nutritional neglect, simple changes like morning porridge, a banana, boiled eggs, drinking enough water led to a remarkable turnaround.
Just basic whole foods.
Yeah. And this isn't new wisdom, is it? Think biblical dietary laws or Hippocrates saying, let food be thy medicine.
It's ancient wisdom meeting modern understanding.
So for you listening, the practical takeaway is maybe embrace more whole foods. Swap out some processed snacks. Try not to skip meals.
And maybe eat a bit more slowly, with gratitude. Hydrate, little things.
Making mealtime, as he says, a ritual of peace.
I like that. A ritual of peace. It connects nutrition to mindfulness. Mental resilience really can begin in the kitchen.
Definitely. Okay, so from what we put in our bodies, let's talk about how we use them. Exercise. Movement as medicine for the mind.
Ah, yes. We live in such a sedentary world, don't we? Lots of sitting. And Onunga argues this stillness actually works against our emotional health.
Our bodies are just designed to move. It's not just about muscles.
Exactly. And the science backs this up strongly. Movement gets those endorphins going.
The natural mood boosters. Right. And it lowers cortisol, that stress hormone, helps rebalance the nervous system, improves sleep. It brings you back to the present moment, too.
A return to presence. That's a great phrase.
Isn't it? Think about that story he tells of the retired woman in Bondo. She was quietly depressed after her husband passed away. She started small, just short daily walks, gradually walked a bit further, eventually got back into her gardening.
And her strength returned.
Yeah, through that rhythm of movement. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual. He calls it prayer in motion.
Wow. Movement is prayer.
Yeah, the body saying, I am still alive. He makes such a vital point. We do not need to feel good to begin. we need to begin to feel good. You just have to start.
That really tackles the motivation barrier, doesn't it? How often do we put off moving because we don't feel like it? But the movement itself can change the feeling.
Precisely.
And framing exercise not as vanity, but as a form of worship, almost, honoring the body, that shifts the perspective entirely.
It really does. Okay, and maybe the most vital yet often sacrificed physical need for our minds?
Sleep.
Yes, sleep. Restoring the mind through rest. Onunga calls it one of life's quiet miracles and the mind's sanitation system.
Cleaning out the toxins, processing emotions, consolidating memories. It does so much.
It really does. And lack of sleep, it can actually mimic symptoms of mental illness. That's quite sobering.
It is. Yet our culture often seems to wear exhaustion like a badge of honor, doesn't it?
Totally. Rest is under siege, bragging about late nights, early mornings.
Yeah.
He tells the story of a young father experiencing burnout, irritable, forgetful,
Familiar for many.
running on maybe 4 to 5 hours sleep, phone always in hand, even in bed.
Oh, dear. The blue light trap.
Exactly. But then he committed to what Onunga calls sacred sleep. Consistent bedtime, no devices before bed.
Setting boundaries around rest.
And the change was visible. It wasn't just feeling less tired. His whole demeanor changed.
That's powerful.
And this isn't just a modern fad. Scripture, he points out, doesn't glorify exhaustion. David finding peace in sleep. Jesus resting in the middle of a storm.
That's a profound image of trust, isn't it? Resting in the storm.
It is. And God modeling rest on the seventh day. It's built into the fabric of creation.
And tying it back. Sleep is so connected to surrender, letting go. Trusting things will be okay without our constant input. It's not wasted time, as the author says. It's a sacred investment in well-being. Mental, emotional, spiritual, all of it. That verse, he grants sleep to those he loves. It suggests rest is a gift, a provision.
A gift we often refuse to open. Okay, so we've covered the body, nutrition, movement, sleep. Now let's broaden out how our connections anchor us.
Right, social dimension.
This brings us to social life. The people around you shape the peace within you. Such a powerful idea.
The core truth being, we were never created to walk this journey alone.
Absolutely. We're wired for connection. Social life isn't just nice to have. He calls it a mental health necessity.
Especially now, with that paradox he mentions.
Right. So connected digitally, yet often feeling more isolated than ever. He describes relationships as having these roles. Mirrors, anchors, and bridges, helping us see ourselves, keeping us grounded, connecting us to others and maybe new perspectives.
That's a great framework.
He shares an anecdote about a young man who moved to the city for work, achieved financial stability, got the job.
Wow.
But he became withdrawn, started underperforming, and the root cause wasn't money or skills, it was relational. Lack of genuine connection.
That loneliness factor is huge for mental health. We often underestimate it.
Definitely. And research backs us up, right? Meaningful relationships are huge predictors of happiness and resilience.
Absolutely. It echoes that famous line from George Vaillant about relationships being the only thing that really matters in life.
Such a vital point. So for you listening, the practical advice is simple but profound. Choose your circle wisely.
Yeah, be intentional.
Greet your neighbors, call a loved one regularly, maybe dare to be a bit vulnerable with people you trust. Join a group.
And be a good friend in return. It's reciprocal.
Exactly. Nurture those connections. Okay, so from the wider circle, let's narrow the focus to, well, maybe the most fundamental connection.
Family.
Family. The first foundation of emotional wellness. This is our first environment, isn't it? Where we learn our earliest lessons about love, safety, feeling capable.
A peaceful home really is a shelter for the soul, as he puts it.
He tells this story. It's quite poignant. A university student, really bright, lots of potential.
Okay.
But she kept underperforming. And it traced back to her father's voice in her head, constantly saying, "You're not good enough."
Oof, that emotional inheritance he talks about, it can run deep.
It really can. But he's also clear, while families can wound, they can also heal. You're not trapped by your past.
That's such an important message of hope. Change is possible.
Yeah. And this resonates with wisdom across cultures, doesn't it? Biblical ideas about honoring parents, but also fathers not provoking children. And Confucius saying the nation's strength comes from the home's integrity.
It really highlights how the mental health of society, it truly starts in the home. Families as that first line of mental health defense.
Yeah, needing that genuine connection, not just living under the same roof.
Right.
So the practical stuff for you, maybe say I'm sorry more often. Really listen without interrupting. Ask your kids how they're actually feeling.
Pray together, maybe. Create time for laughter, share meals, simple things.
Simple, but not always easy. It's about presence over perfection, he says.
Presence over perfection. I like that. Less pressure.
Yeah. And if you've been hurt, seek peace. If you've hurt others, seek forgiveness.
That takes courage.
It does. Which leads nicely to the next point, perhaps the bravest step: acceptance and sharing. The courage to be seen, the grace to be heard.
This is a key.
He defines acceptance not as resignation, but as stopping the fight against ourselves, dropping the masks, saying, okay, this is me right now, and I'm still worthy.
It's not giving up. It is growing up. That's a powerful distinction.
Isn't it? Because hiding, suppressing emotions, it's exhausting. What the heart conceals, the mind will carry. That really lands.
It does, that internal burden.
He tells the story of a young man who'd overcome addiction but was just crippled by shame, couldn't move forward.
Okay.
His breakthrough came in a support group. Telling his story, being, as Onunga puts it, fully known and still embraced.
Wow, that acceptance from others.
Yeah.
It's transformative.
Totally. Acceptance opened the door, but sharing brought the light in. It echoes that verse in James, doesn't it? Confess to one another that you may be healed.
It really does. And it raises that crucial question: how do we create those safe spaces? Spaces where people feel they can speak without fear, cry without shame.
Yeah, that's the challenge for communities, for families, for friends.
Because healing, as he points out, rarely happens in isolation. It's in community, through shared truth and acceptance, carrying each other's burdens.
So for you listening, maybe it starts with the courage to say, I am struggling, even if it's just to one trusted person.
But be discerning, right? Vulnerability is sacred.
Absolutely. Share it with those who have earned the right. And equally important, try to be that safe listener for someone else.
Normalize brokenness,
Yeah.
not to glorify it.
But to disarm its power. Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Practical anchors for daily resilience. First one might surprise some people.
Oh.
Financial stability. When peace has a price tag.
Ah, yes. The money-stress connection. It's huge.
He's very direct. Few things disturb the mind like money trouble. It's a massive source of stress, anxiety.
Yeah.
Robs sleep, impacts dignity.
Absolutely. It permeates everything.
He describes a young man working multiple jobs, yet feeling more depressed at the end of the month because of bill pressure.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah, and the solution wasn't just more income necessarily, but a new approach to his financial life. Stewardship, diligence, avoiding crushing debt, things the Bible talks about a lot.
Seeing wealth as a tool, not a master. That Proverbs verse is key. Better a little with the fear of the Lord than great wealth with turmoil.
Exactly. It reframes success. And what's fascinating is just how tightly our internal peace is linked to that external sense of security, or perceived security. But the crucial reminder from the author: your identity is not your payslip. Separating self-worth from net worth is vital mental health work.
So important. So for you, stability starts with wisdom, he argues, not necessarily a windfall. Budgeting, that's a mental health strategy.
Saving is a vote of hope. I like that.
Yeah. And giving reminds us we're not ruled by scarcity. Talk about money without shame. Separate your worth from your wallet.
Essential advice.
Okay, from our wallets, let's look outward, to the world around us, connecting with nature, returning to God's original therapy.
Oh, I love this one. So needed.
He kind of laments how modern life cuts us off from nature, which he calls God's first and most faithful healers.
And nature has this way of resetting us, doesn't it? Slowing down our racing thoughts.
Totally. Reminding us we're part of something bigger. He says, healing does not have to be hurried. Nature is not in a rush.
Patience, a lesson we often forget.
He tells of a retired nurse in Rarieta, emotionally exhausted, who found sanctuary just tending a small vegetable patch, felt grounded again.
That simple act of connecting with the earth.
And science confirms this, right? Sunlight boosts serotonin. Green spaces reduce cortisol.
Yeah, the evidence is there.
Biblically, too, the first home was a garden. Jesus retreated to mountains and lakesides. Psalm 19, the heavens declare the glory of God. Emerson's advice, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience.
It really underscores how deeply our spiritual and mental well-being are tied to creation. Every leaf, every sunrise. It holds wisdom if we just slow down to listen.
So true. So for you, practical steps, they don't have to be huge. Water some flowers, walk at sunset, open a window.
Sit under a tree without your phone for 5 minutes.
Yes, let the wind teach you to breathe again.
Beautiful. Okay, final practical anchor before we go deeper. Going inside ourselves.
The mind itself.
Understanding how the brain works. the engine room of thought, emotion, and transformation. Onunga uses this analogy of the brain as a garden. What you plant grows. Thoughts, habits, words.
Exactly. And he introduces neuroplasticity, this amazing ability of the brain to change, to unlearn old, unhelpful patterns and build new pathways toward peace.
It's not fixed. We can change our thinking.
Right. He mentions a teacher suffering from burnout, realized her exhaustion was partly cognitive, stuck in mental routines of hopelessness.
Ah, the thought patterns.
She consciously started to reframe her thoughts, and her brain responded. It links directly to Paul's idea of renewing of your mind, taking thoughts captive.
What you repeat, you reinforce. That's a powerful principle for mental habits.
Definitely.
So the question becomes, how do we actively cultivate that mental garden? Plant hope, resilience.
Yeah. And the key takeaway he offers is, your brain is not your enemy. It is your ally.
It needs nurturing, training, feeding it truth.
So for you, be aware of what you're feeding your brain. Maybe limit the negative media. Speak more kindly to yourself.
Embrace structure too, right? Consistent sleep, healthy food routines, they help the brain function better.
Yes, and challenge those negative thoughts. Is this actually helpful? Is it true? Surrender your mind to God. Isaiah 26.3, perfect peace for mind stayed on him.
Powerful tools.
Okay, let's shift now to maybe deeper layers. Understanding and spiritual grounding, starting with psychology. Understanding the mind to heal the heart.
Sometimes seen as conflicting with faith, but he frames it differently.
Right. He challenges that misunderstanding. Psychology, he says, is literally the study of the soul. It helps us name those invisible patterns from our upbringing, maybe trauma, cultural messages.
Why do I feel this way? Questions.
Well, why do I react like that?
He tells of a young woman constantly exhausted, believing she had to be perfect to be accepted.
Earning love through performance. That's common.
Yeah. Healing started for her with compassionate awareness, just understanding that pattern. It echoes Proverbs, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
It really shows how psychology can be a light, can help untangle the knots.
That faith can then ultimately heal.
Yeah.
And the message is so validating. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not crazy. You are human.
Such an important affirmation. So for you, maybe ask gentle questions. When did I start feeling this? What belief about myself might not be true?
And knowing seeking therapy isn't weakness or spiritual failure, it can be wisdom.
Absolutely. And approach others with that same compassion. We all have unseen battles.
True.
Okay, staying with self-awareness. Let's talk triggers. Avoiding triggers, recognizing the storm before it arrives.
The things that set us off.
Exactly. He defines a trigger as anything that reactivates old wounds or just unsettles our peace. And crucially, he says, triggers are not a sign of weakness. They are the scars of lived experience.
That removes so much shame, doesn't it?
It really does. He shares the story of a businessman who'd fly into a rage of question.
Okay.
Traced it back to a hypercritical father. Understanding that link helped him separate the past pain from the present situation.
Creating that space between stimulus and response.
Exactly, that Viktor Frankl idea. In that space is our power to choose our response. It connects to guarding your heart, like in Proverbs.
So the practical question is, how do we cultivate that space?
Yeah.
How do we respond wisely instead of just reacting?
Yeah.
And healing, as the author suggests, helps transform those old wounds into wisdom. So triggers lose some of their power over time.
Right. So for you listening, notice patterns. What people, places, topics tend to throw you off balance.
Name the feeling that comes up. Unsafe, disrespected.
Take a breath before responding. Maybe set some boundaries. Reframe the thought. Is this really about now, or is it an echo from the past?
Lean into prayer for that calm discernment.
Yeah. And remember, avoiding triggers is not selfish. It is self-aware. Taking care of your peace.
Good distinction.
Okay, and finally, the ultimate anchor, God. The anchor of the soul and the source of lasting peace.
Beyond all the techniques.
Exactly. Onunga acknowledges there's a space only God can fill. Not about rigid religion, but about presence. So often, mental health struggles are, at their root, a struggle of the soul.
And God isn't distant from that struggle, is he?
Not at all. Jesus wept. He agonized in Gethsemane. God is portrayed as a faithful presence, especially close to the brokenhearted.
That's comforting.
He shares this incredibly moving story of a widow. She was doing all the right things, exercising, eating well, staying social.
Ticking the boxes.
Yeah, but still felt like she was floating without an anchor, just lost. Until one day, she just sat down and spoke to God, with him reading Psalm 42. And hope slowly returned. Not because her circumstances changed instantly.
But because her internal state found its anchor.
Exactly. Anchored in his presence.
And that really highlights the difference between just coping and actual transformation, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, the strategies help us cope, manage symptoms, build resilience, which is vital. But God helps us transform. He can redeem the pain, restore what feels lost, bring true revival to the soul.
That's a powerful distinction, coping versus transformation. So for you listening, the practical takeaways here are about consistency, not necessarily long rituals, a whispered prayer, reading a psalm, just being still for a moment.
Invite God into your thoughts, the messy ones too.
Yes. And crucially, don't isolate spiritually either. Let trusted faith friends be part of your journey. Sometimes it starts incredibly simply, Lord, I don't know what to say, but I need you. Help me.
Just honesty and openness.
Exactly. So as we start to wrap up this deep dive, it's clear mental health is a journey, isn't it?
Definitely. Often winding, sometimes slow, but always worthwhile, as he says.
Yeah, we've touched on so much: nutrition, sleep, movement,
Social connection, family dynamics, financial wisdom,
connecting with nature, understanding our brains, the role of psychology, managing triggers.
and ultimately the anchor of faith. It's a really holistic approach.
It is. And Onunga's core message comes through so clearly. You are not alone and you are not powerless. Healing isn't about a magic bullet. It's about building a life one gentle choice at a time.
One gentle choice. That feels manageable. Which leads to that final question for you listening.
Yeah.
What is one small practical step you can take today? Right now, maybe. To honor your mind, nurture your peace.
Yeah, not striving for perfection.
No, just presence. Practical application. Remember, healing isn't necessarily the absence of struggle. It's the presence of tools and the courage to use them, one gentle choice at a time.
That's a great way to frame it.
As the author reminds us, peace is a gift, and you have what you need to start cultivating it right now. Like that promise in John, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid.
A powerful note to end on. Thank you.
Thank you.